All right, let's dive into one of the greatest, most loved novels of all time, Pride and Prejudice. Now, you might know it's a classic romance, but it's really about something we all deal with. Can you actually recover from a truly terrible first impression? And more than that, what does it take to get over our own biases and see who someone really is? Let's get into it. Ouch. It all kicks off with this line right here. It's gotta be one of the most savage put-downs in literary history, and it's spoken by the ridiculously wealthy and standoffish Mr. Darcy about our hero, Elizabeth Bennet. And the worst part, she's right there. And here's the whole thing. In that one single cringeworthy moment, the battle lines are drawn. That sentence isn't just the start of the story, it is the story, his pride smashing right into the prejudice it creates. But look, to really feel why that insult hit so hard, you gotta understand the world they're living in. For women back then, marriage wasn't just about finding love. No. It was the biggest financial decision of their entire lives. It was their job, their 401k, their only shot at having a secure future. And for the Bennet family, the pressure is cranked up to 1,000. Mrs. Bennet has count 'em, five daughters to marry off. Jane, Elizabeth, Mary, Kitty, and Lydia. And she has one single, all-consuming obsession: get them all married and married to someone with money. This isn't just some wishful thinking. For her, it is a frantic race against the clock. Now, this panic is all because of a really nasty piece of legal business called the entail. Basically, it meant that the family home, their estate, everything they had could only be inherited by a guy. And with 5 daughters and no sons, the minute their dad dies, all 5 girls and their mother are out on the streets, homeless, penniless, the whole deal. So yeah, finding a husband wasn't just a nice idea. It was literally about survival. So you can just imagine the absolute chaos that erupts when a rich, single, and, totally eligible young man named Mr. Bingley rents the biggest mansion in the neighborhood. For Mrs. Bennet, this guy isn't just a new neighbor. He is a walking, talking solution to all of her problems. The game is officially on. And all of this leads us to the local ball. This is the main event, the social showdown, where everybody meets for the first time. Think of it like an arena where your entire future can be made or broken based on one night and one first impression. So, you've got 2 very different wealthy guys who show up. On one hand, there's Mr. Bingley. He's a total hit, super friendly, charming, and he's immediately into the oldest, most beautiful Bennet sister, Jane. And then you've got his friend, Mr. Darcy. He is way richer, sure, but he's also gloomy, arrogant, and just stands in a corner refusing to dance. In this world, that's a major social foul. And after that one nasty comment about Elizabeth, he becomes public enemy number 1 overnight. So Elizabeth's initial dislike for Darcy pretty quickly hardens into some serious prejudice, and it keeps getting fueled by what seems like solid evidence. First, she meets this incredibly charming soldier, George Wickham, who tells her this sob story about how Darcy robbed him of his inheritance. I mean, given what she already thinks of Darcy, she eats it right up. And then, the final nail in the coffin. Darcy convinces his friend Bingley to just skip town, leaving poor Jane completely heartbroken. As far as Elizabeth is concerned, case closed. Mr. Darcy is a monster. All of this tension, all this drama, is building towards what is possibly the most awkward and disastrous marriage proposal in the history of literature. All that simmering Pride and Prejudice? Yeah, it's about to explode. Totally out of the blue, Darcy shows up and tells Elizabeth that, basically against his better judgment, he's fallen in love with her. I mean, the words sound passionate, sure, but the delivery is a train wreck. He's basically saying, I'm in love with you, even though I really shouldn't be because your family is kind of a mess and your social status is frankly embarrassing. It's a declaration of love wrapped in a giant insult. And Elizabeth just lets him have it. Her rejection is epic. She doesn't just say no, she brings receipts. She calls him out for insulting her family, for purposely ruining her sister's happiness, and for being so cruel to poor Mr. Wickham. It is a complete and total shutdown. So Darcy leaves completely shocked and humiliated. But the next day, he tracks her down and just hands her a letter. And this letter isn't just an explanation, it's about to make Elizabeth question every single thing she thought was true. As she starts to read, you can just feel her confidence start to crumble. This one question starts nagging at her. What if the villain she's built up in her head isn't the real person at all? What if all her righteous anger was built on a pile of lies? For the very first time, she has to face the fact that her own prejudice might have completely blinded her. The letter drops an absolute bombshell. That charming Mr. Wickham? Turns out he's a total liar and a predator. Darcy lays out the real story. Wickham blew through his inheritance and then tried to run away with Darcy's 15-year-old sister to get his hands on her money. Darcy wasn't being cruel. He was protecting his little sister from a total scoundrel. You can just imagine the gut punch for Elizabeth. She realizes she's been completely played. And then there's the part about Jane and Bingley. Darcy admits he broke them up, but not because he's evil. See, Jane is so shy and composed that he honestly, truly believed she wasn't that into his friend. Now, was he arrogant? Yes. Judgmental? Absolutely. Was he wrong? For sure. But his motive was to protect his best friend from what he thought was a bad match. So this letter is the spark. It's what forces both Elizabeth and Darcy to finally take a hard look in the mirror. It's the start of a long and kind of painful journey of them figuring out their own flaws and what's been keeping them apart. Months go by, and Elizabeth ends up taking a tour of Darcy's incredible estate, Pemberley, thinking he's not home. And the place is just like him or the person he's becoming. Impressive but not flashy, and really well put together. But then, surprise, he shows up. And he's a completely different guy. He's polite, he's kind, he's actually gracious. And even more telling, his housekeeper can't stop talking about what a kind and generous boss he is. Elizabeth is finally seeing the real man behind the proud mask. But just when they're starting to connect, disaster strikes. Elizabeth's wild youngest sister, Lydia, runs off with the one person guaranteed to cause the most trouble, George Wickham. In their society, this is a catastrophe. A scandal of this magnitude could ruin the reputation of the entire Bennet family forever. And this is where Darcy proves he's truly changed. He secretly tracks the two of them down, pays off all of Wickham's massive debts, and basically bribes him into marrying Lydia, which saves the Bennet family from total disgrace. And here's the kicker. He does it all anonymously. He's not looking for a thank you. He's doing it because he loves Elizabeth. It's the most selfless thing he could possibly do, and the complete opposite of the proud man we met at the beginning. And with that, Elizabeth's journey is complete too. When she finds out what Darcy did, everything finally clicks into place. Her feelings went from pure dislike to total confusion after the letter, and now, after seeing his true character and what he sacrificed for her family, it finally blossoms into love. So in the end, Darcy proposes a second time. But this time, there's no arrogance, no insulting her family. There's just humility, respect, and real, honest-to-goodness love. And Elizabeth, who has finally overcome her own prejudice, happily says yes. They both had to fundamentally change as people to earn this happiness. And so, a story that's over 200 years old leaves us with a question that feels like it could have been written yesterday. How often do our own first impressions, our own stubborn pride, or our unchecked biases keep us from seeing the people who are standing right in front of us?